soon. He's going to be with us all weekend, folks.
Don't try the veal, it's gross.
Well, we all know that StarGate is cool. We all think StarGate is cool, right? Well, we'd like to know, what do you think about StarGate is cool? What's cool about StarGate?
I'll start that one. Yeah, all right. Well, in life, you know, you always get asked these questions. If you could do anything, what would you do? The desert island, what food would you bring? All that stuff. So, what would I do? I've always said, well, I don't want to be invisible per se. I always said I wanted to teleport. I always thought that would be the coolest thing, to be able to teleport. And then the movie Jumper came out, and then I wasn't so sure. But the money thing was pretty cool. So I always said growing up that would be the coolest skill if you could teleport. And when I got the job on Atlantis and went through the wormhole, I figured that I in some way sort of met my dream. I got to teleport. So that's cool. But I'm working on it in real life.
Well, for me, I mean, what's cool about StarGate is I get to play the bad guy. And for me, that's just so cool.
Yeah. I'll second that. I mean, never did I think that I would ever get to play such a cool villain. I mean, it's so fun. Sorry, that's really kind of twisted, I guess. But where else are you going to play somebody who's thinking about world domination?
No, it's true. And you know what? Playing the bad guys is you get so much freedom to do whatever you want to do because you have to create that bad guy. Nobody can tell you how to play a villain. They write the dialogue for you, and you now have to. That's just dialogue. You now have to make this character and create this personality. And being a villain, you just get so much freedom to do that. So for me, that was the coolest thing.
And I got to play you, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cooler for him, I think.
I never got to play her, I'm sorry. It's too late for me.
Well, Eric, you have played, and your resume, the things that you've done. You've been on Seinfeld. You've been on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You've done so many things. So what about StarGate to you is special?
Well, the movie certainly was very special for me. It certainly, you know, when I came from New York, I was a stage actor. I never thought I'd move to Hollywood, and this was my first real, you know, honest-to-goodness studio film, and it did very well. And so, I mean, obviously, it kicked off my career, and I keep telling Dean Devlin, who was the writer-producer on it, I said, you know, that great guy. And he called me recently and asked me to do him a favor. He was shooting a little trailer for a movie that he wanted to sell, and he asked me if I'd do it. And I said, Dean, you know, I owe you my career, man. And he goes, hey, don't blame me for that shit. But it's absolutely true, you know. And this movie sort of, you know, got me where I am today. But you know what is cool to me about sci-fi in general is that we can talk about issues that that really are very meaningful to all of us and remove it just enough so that we can look at it objectively, as opposed to getting all caught up in, you know, in our personal ties with certain situations, you know, and I think it's really very, it's a great format to lay things on the table and have people look at it objectively. And that to me is the greatest asset to sci-fi. It's something I love about Star Trek, and then I think StarGate was kind of the next generation, if I can mix metaphors. But yeah, you know, and I think that the coolest thing about StarGate was that I ascended without even knowing it. So.
Yeah. To be able to go through the StarGate to these other worlds, even though General Landry was for the most time in the office, I was, through my troops involved in all these incredible adventures into other worlds, and our world is shrinking, and so is the universe, and so it is. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's really playing with real ideas, telling stories that impact us all, but doing it with a sense of fun because it is science fiction. And for me, what's really unique about this experience is I've never been involved with any film or stage play or TV or big screen that had this kind of a fan base. I mean, you guys and people that watch this show are amazing. The devotion, the great joy that you bring, you know, and now that I'm starting to go to a few of these conventions, I see it firsthand. And when you're a performer telling these stories, I certainly feel a huge responsibility to reflect it back to you, you know, because it's great, because, you know, we actors, we don't exist unless the audience is there. When it's there so strongly and fully and passionately, it's exciting to behold.
I just want to say ditto.
Okay.
No, I mean, that was when I first started. I didn't know science fiction very much, and to be honest, I had probably a bit of an attitude against it. When I first graduated from college too, I was very snobby about how I wanted to do theatre, and you know, I had this whole sort of erudite attitude, and then I got a sci-fi show, and it was very interesting because what I learned was exactly that. It's a wonderful environment to be able to explore philosophy and religion without actually stepping on people's toes and ending up in a bar fight. and it's important, because it's important to have those conversations, and everyone is so frightened now to speak their opinion, and it's a wonderful venue for that. The other thing, again, what Bo said was, you guys, the first time I did a convention, I said, I'll never do another one. I was overwhelmed and I was terrified. But what was remarkable is the next time we went back to shooting, I kept thinking of you. So it brought it back to theater, because there is a disconnect with television and film and the audience. And the audience is always the fifth character, and you sort of, if you don't get to meet them, you can easily forget about them. And this is an amazing environment because we take you to set with us, and you're there, and when we're fighting for what our character is saying, we're remembering what some of you said at a convention or what a question was asked, and it's very important. It makes it, it makes it more present, which I really appreciate.
Speaking of questions, we are going to take some questions from our lovely fans right now. We have two mic handlers, one in the center here, so if you would line up beside, raise your hand, and you may ask away.